Good morning, everyone. My name is Louise Island from Clarity Crafts here in the UK. Welcome to Groovi Tuesday. Hope everybody's well. It's quite strange for me to say Louise Island. It's very different to what I'm used to. But yeah, it's new year, new name, and I hope everybody's okay and had a really lovely Christmas and New Year. Did you have family over, or was it a bit more of a quiet one? We had quite a quiet Christmas, but I saw different family members through the Christmas holidays, and it was just, I love just spending time with my family. You know, they're so important to just see your family, and especially over Christmas as well. But yeah, I really just had a really lovely week away, just spending time with my dad, my stepmom, my mum, my brother, and lots more family members. So it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So I hope everybody's well. And it's been a quite chilly one this week so far. I know a lot of you are a little bit snowbound with, especially up in Scotland. You've got quite a few inches of snow up there. I like the look of snow, but obviously us in England, it does, we do struggle with snow. We're used to rain, but not snow. But I hope everybody's warm, and everybody, fingers crossed, is safe and warm in their homes. And just be careful if you're going out, because I skated home yesterday evening. It was a bit icy on my way home, so I shuffled home. Because knowing me, I'm very, very clumsy, so I'd probably end up falling flat on my bum. But yeah, it's very cold, so just keep warm. Have a nice cup of tea. I've got a nice cup of tea here, and we're just going to have a nice, relaxing hour. We've just finishing our last week of the really lovely Christmas Linda's Enchanted Christmas plates. So we've been working on that, and I just wanted to show you the border. Sorry, I'm a bit nasally now. Just wanted to show you the border before we go on to the next Groovi Tuesday project, which I'm looking forward to. And then later on we have a 2 p.m. show as well. So Paul and myself will be back at 2 p.m. To do a little bit more on the lines of the Barbara's Floral Alphabet, the lovely new sentiment plate. So we'll just have a fun 2 p.m. show to ease everybody back into the groove. So Jane is in the room with you. Sorry, I've been rabbiting on for 3 minutes. Jane's in the room with you. I hope the sound was okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Jane. Jane's going to be in the room with you. So if you have any questions, Jane's there to help, and she'll also put any questions through to me if she thinks that I need to answer the question. So good morning, everyone. It's so lovely to be back into the swing of things. It's been a really lovely week or so. So I think it's so important after Christmas is finished, we get our homes back. You know, the children, grandchildren, family members, they go back home. And now it's time for you to have a nice little bit of me time and do some crafting in the warm with a cup of tea or coffee. But yeah, if you're struggling with your mojo, your crafting mojo at the moment, we've got so much different shows lined up this month. And of course we have at the end of this month, we have an enhanced pencil work course run by myself and Paul. So that's going to be fun. So if you did want to learn how to colour with your colour pencils, which is our polychromos that we have in stock, then it's going to be a really lovely day. It's on a Saturday. However, if you can't make it on Saturday, you can't watch it live, you'll be able to watch it back whenever. So if you're used to the courses during the week, you can buy the course and you can watch it whenever. So it's going to be a really good day. Looking forward to that. But even though we are doing pencil work on parchment, pencil work works on anything. So what I'm teaching, you'll be able to transfer your skills onto your stamping projects, or if you like to do colouring books, then they're a good way to chill out as well. But I like kind of sometimes stamping images like the poppets and using the coloured pencils on those, so it's good fun. But yeah, so I'll stop rabbiting now. I expect we've got lots of friends in the room. So we didn't have any snow last night, I don't think, but it's very, very icy today. I went out to, I have to go outside to go back in because we've got the guinea pigs and the rabbit in a nice little enclosed space. Better than being outside in the cold. Although they do go out during the day because it's not a nice place to stay all the time. And they do need a bit of sunlight, so they go out during the day. So I went out to put all of the morning water out and everything. And the bird bowl that I use for water, because birds really struggle in the winter, because we tend to feed them a lot in the gardens with all of the little fat balls and the seeds and the mealworms and things. But I think they do struggle to find water as well in the winter. So we always put like a little bowl down for them to have a little drink from, just to replenish themselves, bless them. But it was completely iced over, so I had to bring out some more water to kind of get the ice to crack. It was literally a block of ice. So yeah, so they all got fresh water, and I saw a robin, and you can hear them, but you can't sometimes see them. But yeah, they love all the mealworms and everything, so that works a treat. But it was so cold this morning. I was going out, and because I was trying to break the ice of the water, I ended up coming in. I felt like I had frostbite on the end of my fingers. It was so cold. But yeah, so it's going to be a fun month. We've got lots of things planned, so I better get into the project now. I've been waffling on for so long. Right, let's have a nice cup of tea and chill. That's nice. I like it with one sugar in, a little bit sweet. Okay, so we are on this project at the moment. So we're going to just, today we're just going to have a little bit of fun. I'll show you how I did the border. That's just using a diagonal grid and then this lovely plate here. You can see the lovely little detail on the outside. So I've used that a couple of times on the outside just to create that edge. So if I come in a little bit more, you can, there we go. So we've got this little bit here, so you can see, you might be able to see better on the blue. There we go. So you see this little bit here is here, and then all you have to do is just turn it 180 and then do it that way. So it's kind of working in like a little circular motion. And then I put some little lines in to make it look a bit like snowflakes, hence Christmas. I know it's gone past Christmas, but if you forget the inside now, it's a really this plate is really, really lovely. I mean, if you took away the trees and everything, it's a nice little village. And take away that tree maybe, and then you could just fill in the lines here. That could be a really lovely little village. Doesn't have to be Christmas. So I mean, I would use that all year round, I think, because it can be so versatile. So yeah, so we're going to use this plate here, and we're going to create that really lovely border. So I did this morning because I forgot how to do. I didn't forget how to do it, but you know when you haven't completed a border in a while, and you think, oh, how did I do it? I mean, it is pretty simple, but then again, so am I. So you know. Okay, so let's get started. So if I come out a little bit. I did that little glow around the light. I think that looks really effective on the, just using the, if you wanted to know how to do the colouring, if you go back a couple of weeks on the Groovi Tuesday, and you can see how I did the colouring there. So we're going to bring in the plate mate. So I did one side. So I wanted to do one side so that when I show you how to do a side, and then I can marry up the two sides and show you how I did a corner. And once you know how to do one side, because this will probably take a while, once you know how to do one side, and then it's the same on all sides. So it's just nice and easy little border to create. And I'm glad that Linda put this on the outside, because it's really lovely sometimes to have a little embossed grid. So thank you, Linda. So I'm going to do this one here. I'm going to do this part here. So if I come in a little bit. So before I do anything, obviously I use a tumble dry sheet. You can do it on both sides, like so. There we go. So is everybody resting now after your eventful Christmases? I think it's nice to get back into the swing of things. I'm going to find my stick tabs. I'll stick it down, and then I know it's not going to go anywhere. Sometimes when I'm working, I work so quickly, sometimes I kind of just hold it down and I don't stick it down. And sometimes I think, you know, just take the extra time just to stick things down, then you know that it's not going to go anywhere. So what I'm doing is I'm just lining up. Might be better if I show you on the 3. So lovely to see so many lovely friends, and Happy New Year to all of you. I spoke to quite a few of you yesterday, actually. I was on the phones yesterday, because I'm helping Sue now with the phones as well as doing other bits and pieces. So it's so lovely to speak to you all. But yeah, it was a busy day yesterday because it was the last day of our Boxing Day sale. So everybody was getting their orders in before the sale finished. So yeah, I can't see. Hold on, let me bring this down again. So I've lined it up. So more or less the top. This is going to be our first little our ring of these. So you see here, that's going to be our first. So I start off near the top here. We're going to forget about this bit here. So to start off with, I'm just going to follow this all the way down. As soon as I get to about here, here, I'm going to take it off and move it down, because once you get down to here, which you can't see, here we go. Once you get to down here, we're kind of in a corner, and the pattern changes. So just beware. I'm going to stop about here, and then I can just then move it down a little bit, because as you can see here, it kind of goes a bit. It goes into the next thing. So this is kind of like a little corner design. So yeah, so I'm just going to work my way down. So this is nice and simple. And then we can move it around when needed. So I must admit, I did go on a few walks as well in Christmas time. I think it's nice to walk off your Christmas dinner. But yeah, it's so lovely seeing go out into the woods and have a nice walk in the woods. I love being out in nature. Mind you, in this weather, my body doesn't like being outside at all. Hold on, let me move this down a bit. There we go. Yeah, because of my fibromyalgia, sometimes the cold just aggravates it so much. I wake up stiff as a board. And I'm so clumsy in the morning. I have to really try to be really quiet, because when I wake up, both my mum and my brother, they're fast asleep. But I have to go, that's it, I have to be so quiet, but I'm so clumsy in the morning. The walk to work kind of wakes me up a bit. And obviously going outside this morning, that really woke me up. Oh yes, thank you, Jane. I was actually going to mention that, mainly because it's food. But there's quite a few national days today. As always, I always check my phone because I think sometimes it's good to know what national day it is. And I always seem to let everybody know on Groovi Tuesday. So we've got National Walker's Shortbread Day. So Jane's just texted me and she said that she's going to make some later, which I don't blame you because I love shortbread. Absolutely love shortbread. Anything sweet, really. There's still some chocolates outside in the kitchen where you make tea. And it's I did have one. I thought, oh, that's nice with a nice cup of tea. There we go. So I've just moved it down a little bit. So I'm going to keep on going down here, and I'm going to finish to this one here. And then we can work out a corner design. There we go. I have a Groovi guard, but it's not being used. There we go. Just working my way down. And also it's National Cuddle Day as well. That's nice, isn't it? So give somebody a cuddle. Okay, so I'll just go down to that part there. Okay, so we've gone right down. So, and then once I you know, with the corner, I'm just going to kind of create just a little design here. And as you can see on here, I've just put, so I've finished up here and I've finished up here, and then I've kind of just put a little design there. And then you can kind of work a little diagonal pattern around the outside. So yeah, I do. I think National Cuddle Day is nice. And it's National Take Down the Tree Day, which is what I usually always do on the 6th, because I think you have the 12 days of Christmas. I know a lot of people like to take down their tree and get their rooms back after Christmas, that's fair enough. But I absolutely love keeping Christmas as long as possible. So much so that I don't. Everybody else has finished their festivities for Christmas, but I tend to like to keep on to them as long as possible. So I kind of pretend that I'm back in Victorian times and I'm having 12 days of Christmas and I'm celebrating for 12 days instead of 1. So I'm just lining up here. You can see. Oh. You'll see here. In the Groovi tab. Says, yep, you're going to stick it down right now. I'm just going to move it down to hello. There we go. So you just want it so there's a slight gap here in between the 2 lines. So I've turned it round 180 degrees, and now I'm going to do the border. And just takes a little bit of time just to line up my eyes. There we go. And now I can go back and go all the way down. I'll start here. Yeah, I love my Christmas decorations too. And also some of them are winter decorations. So I don't even there's some decorations in the house that are winter decorations which stay up until spring. And then obviously you have the Christmas tree and bits and pieces that I'll take down ready for next year, or this year rather. But yeah, I like to hold on to Christmas. But does anybody like to make any New Year's resolutions? Do you keep to them? See, I tend to not make any major New Year's resolutions in the new year, mainly because I know that I'm not going to keep up with them because it's winter. What I tend to do is I tend to kind of, like, I have made a little New Year's resolution of not eating so much sweet stuff because I do tend to like my sweet stuff. And I've got to really lower my sugar intake, really. It's not helping me. So that is the plan. However, my walking that I want to do, I'll probably start in spring a bit more. I'll do the odd walk, but in the spring, I'm going to start walking a nice longish walk after work every day. But in the winter, I just want to hibernate. Like, I'll go home and I'll do a little bit of crafting, a bit of reading, a bit of watching telly, and I'm like a little squirrel in winter. I like to keep inside and hibernate in the warm, which is what a lot of us crafters like to do, really. Oh, happy birthday, Janet. I've just seen everybody's messages on there. Happy birthday. Hope you're having a lovely day. You got some nice treats. At least that's something to look forward to in January then. You've got your birthday. There we go. So I'm just moving it down just a little bit so I can just finish off the this corner here. Just like so. There we go. Okay, so far we have our little border. Okay, so we've done it this way, and then we've turned it 180 degrees and we've done it this way. So that's that part. Now we've done that, I don't need this plate anymore. I'm going to just take that one away and I'm going to replace it with my diagonal grid. So we've got a nice diagonal grid there. So what we can do before we get into the, because now we're going to perforate. Before I get into that, I thought we can, so it depends whether you want to have, where's that little bit of parchment? I'll put it on the side here. Depends whether you want to have a snowflake. If you don't want to have a snowflake, there's some other examples. So this is it without anything inside. So you could keep it like that, which is exactly as it comes, which looks absolutely really nice. Where are we? Here we are. Yeah, so you could keep it like this, or you can have you can do all of the dots. So you could get the diagonal grid and align it so it, because it is meant to fit in with the diagonal grid display as well. So you could line it up and then put your little, well, you can't see, hold on. You could line it up and put your little dot in the middle if you wanted to. If you wanted to do a dot all the way around. However, you've also got the snowflake. So all you've got to do with that is just create your little, once you've got that part, you just need to bring in your embossing mat. I used number 1, and so you just go into opposite ends like so. When you look on the front, you've got the little snowflake. Or you can just emboss a dot in the middle. So it looks a bit like a little flower like this. There. So I've embossed a bigger dot. So it's not the normal it's not the normal dot that you put in with the embossing mat. You can actually freehand put in a little dot like that. So you've got like almost like a little where's it gone? There it is. A little flower. That is a good year's resolution. I need to do the same, Helen. I need to drink more water. Flushes everything that's bad out of your body. And I need to remember that. Okay, so yes, we could do, I might leave this out and not do the snowflakes this time. I think it looks quite nice. I've just done that embossed detail here. So to join up, so it doesn't look like it's just an odd border on the outside, I just come in with my number 1 and I just, you could also probably get away with using a scallop plate, which I don't have here, but you could use, if you didn't want to freehand, and if you were a bit nervous about tearing through the parchment, you'd probably get a scallop in there. I mean, there's lots of plates that have scallops on. Yeah, so I just freehand emboss. If you wanted to create this white, I'd suggest probably using the number 2. If you wanted to put some white work inside the scallop, I thought I'd just use the number 1. Make it nice and sharp. So once you've done the scallop, we can turn our attention to the diagonal grid. There we go. I was watching some really lovely old films over the Christmas holidays as well. You know, when it was cold and it was a bit miserable outside. I've watched some, I like watching old movies. And I haven't watched these 2 movies that I'm about to say. I haven't watched them at all. And I can't believe I missed them because they're really good. I watched, one of them was A Date with Judy, which had Jane Powell and Elizabeth Taylor in. And I absolutely loved that. I thought that was a really lovely film. See, I remember watching, Jane Powell was in a film called 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, which I used to have on a VCR when I was a little girl. Because I used to be able to watch videos downstairs, but there was no, we didn't have any Sky or anything, you just had 4 channels. So I would watch old movies that I had on a VCR. Let me come out a little bit so you can see. Yeah, so I watched, what did I watch? Yeah, Seven Brothers, Slipper in the Rose, all those sort of older movies. But yeah, so one of them was A Date with Judy. Yeah, so that had Jane Powell and Elizabeth Taylor. And the other one was The Harvey Girls with Judy Garland. I do like watching Judy Garland films. I watched also a film about Judy, I think it was called just Judy, about Judy Garland and her life near the end of her life. And it was quite heartbreaking, but I mean, she really did suffer, bless her. But yeah, so the Harvey Girls was good as well. I thought that was quite funny. But yeah, I like watching old films, like Meet Me in St. Louis and all of those sort of things as well. But yeah, I can't believe I missed those. And I do love 40s films. I'm quite an old-fashioned girl, really. I sometimes think I was born in the wrong era, to be fair. Okay, so now we've done our little scallop. So I've lined it up over our diagonal grid, and I'm just going to come in with my 1 needle. And also what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put my Pico foam underneath the plate mate and the diagonal grid on top of my black mat. Line it up and make sure it's in. So all I need to do now is have a sip of my tea. Here we go. And just line it up. You can see, you can't see. Here we go. Now you can see once it focuses. There we go. So I'm just lining it up. So the inside, as you can see here, I'll just move it over so you can see what I'm getting at. So you line it up so you can fit one of these bits here. You can see there. We're just fitting one of those in the inside. You can by eye, if you've got a light wave, even better. You can line it up so much easier when you can see it. When I was doing the other border this morning, my eyes were streaming a little bit because I was straining my eyes a little bit. But the light's so much better now. So definitely a light wave is always a good purchase, really. I know a lot of us do have light waves. I have it at home. I tend not to use it when I'm demonstrating, just because sometimes the light doesn't always help on the screen. Or if I was using, sometimes when I was using multi-needle tools, I usually use a magnifier. That helps. I was trying to figure out the word for a magnifier. I wanted to say telescope. I'm like, no, it's not a telescope, Louise. But yeah, magnifier. There we go. So I've done the inside. I've gone all the way along there and done the inside. Just using, you can kind of, when you're looking at a diagonal grid, you can kind of see a flower form with diagonal. I like using diagonal grid. Okay, so we've done that part now. Oh, it's Karen's birthday too. Happy birthday, Karen. Gosh, so many people had their birthdays today. It's great. Fresh snow during the night on the path. Ow. We cleared it yesterday. Yeah, it's lovely to look at snow, isn't it? But it's not great if you want to get somewhere. But yeah, it's definitely a chilly one this week. So cold. Right, so what I'm doing now is you can kind of see here, I hope. I don't know if I did nope, no. Let's go back here. Sorry, let it focus a minute. Is it focusing? Or is that my eyesight, or is that the camera? Let me go back out again. Sorry, guys. There you go. Glad it wasn't my eyesight. I thought, oh no. So yeah, so I'm just lining up so I can fit one of a bit like how we lined up to put this in. I'm putting this flower design into it, and you can kind of see it form here, around there. See? So I'm just putting that into the groove of the border. Okay, and it's just lining up all the way down, which is even better. Let me move this up so you can see. There we go. So I'm just working into the groove all the way down, and then we'll work out the other bit in a minute. There we go. As you go further down, you might just need to give it a little tweak so it all fits in. We'll put that down there too. There we go. So now we've got that part. What I did then is Actually, let me put that on that part as well. Just going to line it up. Just going to do a little bit there too. Okay, so we've done that part. So then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over onto the embossing mat side of the black mat. There we go. So we've got this little bit here. So this is how far we've got so far. So I've done a little bit inside there. That's a little groove. So I'm just going to turn it onto the back. And what I'm going to do now is, as you can see in this part here, I've just infilled the little design on the edge. So all of these ones here, I'll work my way up. Okay, so I'm just infilling the little white dot. A bit like what I was showing you at the top with the different ways of embossing inside. There we go. All the way down. This way up. There we go. Yeah, I hope everybody nice and warm today. Happy New Year to anybody that didn't hear me at the beginning of the show. But Happy New Year, and I hope you had a lovely Christmas. There we go. So now I've infilled with the outside of the diagonal grid. So I'm just going to go back onto the side where I had every little bits and pieces. So back with my diagonal grid. Ooh. Hold on. There we go. So then I'm just going to finish this little bit here. So just to join the outside, I'm literally going to put in two dots between the two flowers. We'll just call them flowers for now. So just work away, just line it up so you can fit two perforating holes between these two bits here. And I'll just work my way all the way down. This is going to be our outside perforation now. There we go. It kind of just, luckily, all just lines up. You might just have to move it occasionally. Do it so you can see. There we go. So I have now, if I come out a little bit so you can see better, you can see the whole border, I mean. There we go. So now we've done the outside part. So we've done a little scallops inside there. We've done I'm going to cut out the middle. Let me just move those two close together. There we go. If I do 3, doesn't go to, there's it better. There we go. You can see better now. Yep, so I've still got the middle part just to cut out, the picot scissors, and then now I'm going to be cutting out around this design, like, so this little bit here are these little bits. So cut around that, and that makes a really lovely nice little border. So now, before I do any snipping, I'm going to show you just how I, so I'll come up to the edge here. So I've got no kind of, I'm just going to create a design so it doesn't look so bizarre. So I'm going to put a little flower, I'm going to call it a flower for now, in there. So that lines up the two corners. And I might do another little flower there. And a flower there. Okay. And then what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to work around here. So I've kind of just fitted in. Once you've got to the main part here, when you get to the corner, you know, I haven't created a corner that's like that, but I've just kind of used that as a slant. So now here I would just so you could work out that you've got a little extra bit there, and an extra one there. There we go. So I've just kind of worked around there, a little design there, and I'm going to put a little white dot in there, so it kind of just all looks like it's part of a pattern. So I'm bring it down so you can see the corner. So these bits here, I'm just going to kind of all kind of just works together then. There we go. So it looks like it just flows round then. Just kind of like, let's have a bit of fun with it really. Okay, so that part's done now. So once that's done, your choice of how you want to infill these little bits here. I'm going to just leave them blank this time because I just wanted to show you how to create the border. So I want the Pico foam on top of my black mat, hard side up. So what you'll probably need to do, I mean, I have used it over the Pico foam. So these holes are actually, one might need to kind of just be poked a little bit. Just because they might have got a little bit squashed when I keep on turning it from over. But apart from that, they should all be large enough for me to go around and snip. There we go. Okay. Day after Boxing Day, me and my stepmom, we went shopping on Saturday. Went to see Wicked in the afternoon. That was really good. I enjoyed watching that. So I haven't been to cinema in such a long time. And every time I go there, I think, oh, I need to come more often. I need to go to the cinema more often. So I'm going to try and do that this year. I saw so many films that I wanted to watch as well. I was like, oh, I'd like to watch that, and I'd like to watch that in January or April or whatever. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the cinema a bit more often. Okay, so let's do the inside bits first, so we can see how we. And so what I'd probably do is I go all the way along and snip the same one all the way along the border, and then I'll just turn it. That way I don't have to keep on turning my work around for every single one. There we go. So just turn it a little bit. Do the next one. I always work clockwise. I like the sound of snipping. There we go. Let's keep on turning it every time. So next week we've got something new planned. I did show before Christmas, I believe, the next Groovi Tuesday project, but I will show you in a little while and what we're going to do. Bit of fun. There we go. So I'm just working my way along again, just like that. Oh yeah, so I went shopping. One of the shops we went into Primark because I wanted to get some more fleece leggings, and Primark do these really fabulous leggings. They're so thick. I've got them on now, and they are so warm that literally there's fleece inside, and it just makes you feel really, really cozy. But they didn't have any in my size. They had small and they had medium and they had large. I like to, because I don't like anything pressing on my stomach because it sometimes gives me a tummy ache. So I like larger than I need leggings, so I tend to go for extra large, and they're a bit more comfortable then. But they had no extra large, so the only extra large ones I could find were maternity leggings, built for somebody that has a 7-month bump and beyond. But I thought, oh well, you know, they're extra large, so I'll buy some. I know they're maternity leggings, but what the hell? But actually, I'm wearing them today. They are so comfortable. Maternity leggings, who knew? So comfortable. But I did have a laugh that day, and I said, "Oh, look, there was a really lovely skirt in New Look. It was in the sale, but it was a size 18." And my stepmom, she said, "Oh, you're not going to fit into those. They're size 18. You only look like a size 12." And I said, "I'll show you a magic trick. Look." I'll show you a magic trick. So there I am, kind of like in New Look, kind of like behind the curtain rail. I said, "Look, watch." So I kind of stepped into the skirt because I had like a long jumper dress on. I stepped into the skirt and I said, "Look," first of all, I said, "Look, size 18, right?" I said, "I'm going to show you a magic trick." So I'm kind of like putting it up my legs, shuffled and everything. I put it on and I put my jumper dress on and I was like, "Look, it fits." I fit into a size 18 skirt. She's like, "I don't know how that happened." She said she looked like a size 12 or something. I said, "No, I can fit into quite a few different sizes." But it was quite funny. We were in the middle of New Look having a laugh because she's like, "There's no way that a size 18 is going to fit you. You're like a size 12 or 14 at tops." And it was just so funny. So I'm just going to show you a little magic trick here. I can fit into a size 18 skirt. Watch. It was really funny at the time. So now I'm going to work on the outside. Now I've told you all of that. So I'm just going to work around the outside. But I must admit, clothes shops sometimes, I can go from going into one shop, so like in Primark I can be one size, and then I'll go into River Island or somewhere else and I'll be a completely different size. So I usually tend to, when I'm looking at clothes online, because sometimes I find that's easier, I tend to just go by measurements of the waist now instead of a size, because I've gone to so many shops and I range from a size 12 to a size 18 depending on what shop you're in. Funny. Don't know how it's possible. But yeah, it was a funny day. It was a cold day. Day after Boxing Day, but it's not as cold as this week. This week is freezing. Talking of freezing, my tea's gone cold. No, you're right, Jane. Sizes aren't standard anymore. You really, I think if you do go into any shops and try anything on, you do have to, no, if you go into any shops, you really do have to try things on, because I mean, what I tend to do with trousers or skirt, I mean, I tend to not wear a lot of trousers, to be fair, mainly because I can never find ones that fit my waist and the length of my leg, because my legs are so long. It's very hard sometimes to find a tall range in shops, so I tend to go for a lot of like jumper dresses in the winter and leggings rather than trousers. But any skirt or anything, for example, I always put it up to me, and if it goes halfway round, so I kind of measure it to go onto my hips, and if it fits from halfway between my hips and everything, then I know it's probably going to fit. But yeah, nothing's standard anymore. It really could give you a complex. You go into shops and you think you're one size and you end up being 3 sizes bigger. Luckily, I'm not bothered. Yeah, you just have to be a bit savvy when you go shopping sometimes, just to make sure that you don't mess up with sizing. But there we go. So if I just cut this bit away, you can see the outside now. Obviously I would work, there we go, I'll cut all the way around in the end. Oh, there we go. There you go. And then you get that little border there. I mean, obviously that's a very basic border. You can elaborate it, like we were saying, you know, filling the scallop with either a colour maybe, or some embossing. I've done the inside, but you can also, obviously, but before we've cut all of this out, you could create little snowflakes. It just depends on the season. I suppose Christmas cards, they look nice with the little snowflakes, because it's, you know, Christmassy. However, in the summer, you might want to create little flowers. So do this border and have little flowers around it instead. But yeah, you could colour the scallops in blue, or you could use metallic gel pens on the inside of the thing. So yeah, so that's how we do the border, and then we would just continue all the way around. But yes, red would look nice. You're right, Jane. Red would kind of break up all of the blue and everything. I think the red would look really nice. I don't know how many colours, but you know, I think that would look nice. Okay, so yeah, so that's that part. So that's how you would create that, and then obviously we'd use our little metallic gold gel pen to do the lantern and everything, and finish off your colouring and everything. But I really just wanted, just before we begin another project, I know this was supposed to be a December project, but I really just wanted to show that border, because it's nice to know that something like this, you know, can be for any season. I mean, obviously it's Enchanted Christmas for a reason. There it's very Christmassy themes. However, some of the plates you can use elements from. But this would be really nice if you just took away the Christmas tree and just filled in the lines here, just by, you know, just moving the plate around. That would look really lovely as a little village for any occasion, really. But yeah, that's yeah, Helen, I like doing that. I thought, oh, good little footsteps in the snow. You can see where he's been. I expect a lot of people are experiencing the footprints in the snow this week, especially up north. I know in Scotland you've had quite a lot of snow, and yeah, hopefully it's not too bad where you are. Just be careful when walking out in it, because after it, the second day is sometimes the worst, isn't it? It gets icy. I remember when I was in community care work a few years back. And I remember one Christmas or one January, February, it was really, really icy. And I remember there wasn't a steep hill, but it was in the middle of country lanes. And I was literally, I started to go down and I was going very, very slow. I was in a low gear and everything. But all of a sudden, it just took me. And I was just, I felt like Bridget Jones on the slope. You know, the second film of Bridget Jones, going sideways down the slope, and I couldn't. It wouldn't let me steer back into the curve. So there I am, just going sideways down a hill, and I'm just like, please stop at the bottom. Luckily, I stopped literally about a foot away from a car. I was like, oh no, here we go, insurance, all of that. But yeah, I managed to stop it in time. It just slowed right down, thankfully. But no, it was, looking back on it, it would have been quite comical just seeing this car going sideways down a hill. But yeah, I don't think the car that was at the bottom of the hill thought the same. I think it probably, they did reverse back, because otherwise I would have gone sideways into them. But yeah, so that's that part. So next week we have another little card. I'll show you, because I'm probably going to show you 2 p.m. show as well, because I know this is a really lovely plate. I'll show you the plates later on, but I just want to show you the card now. So now we're hitting into January. So the hope of spring is on its way. Hibernating at the moment, and awaiting spring, and flowers. There we go. So what I thought I'd show you, we're going to use the Bijou Floral Alphabet, which is an A4 plate. However, this design on the outside, you can use anything in. However, as you can see on the letters, I've kind of, in old English, like proper, like old English books, medieval books, where they have that illuminated alphabet at the beginning of a page. I was looking at some books online, and one of these books had that, and I thought, I was talking before Christmas with Paul about the next Groovi Tuesday project, and I thought this would go well, and it gives that lovely little flash of foiling as well. So I've used the gold foil on this with some sticky ink. You can use a sticky ink, or you can use the Cricut glue pen. Just wait for it to dry. And so I'm going to show you that trick. But obviously, before we do that, if I go a bit further into the project there. So we're using the wing tool around the outside. In between the 4 boxes, I've just freehand done some little swirls and everything. However, you can probably use, there's lots of little squiggles. Yeah, lots of little squiggles in between the middle bits. Yeah, illuminated letters at the beginning of a page. So I thought, I'll give that a go on this project. So I think it really gives you a nice little flash of gold foiling. So why not? I had some extra little pieces of gold foil, so I thought, I'll give it a go. And it worked. So that's what we're going to do in the next Groovi Tuesday project. So we're using the wing tool. Let me give you a list. I've written down a list of things that I use. So obviously, I use A4 parchment, and then all your little bits like your black mat and everything like that. I use a framework squares, which is an A4 square plate. Let me bring that in. I've got that here. This one here. So it's got lots of little squares, but it's really good to line up. So that's what I used for the 4 squares there. That's 40721 if you wanted to get that. And then the floral alphabet, it's an A4 plate, which is this one. It's got such lovely little flowers on it. This plate actually comes with, so that one's 42081. It comes at the back, you get one of these that tells you the flower, which is good, because then you can look online and say, if you wanted to colour likeness, then you could have this and you could look on Google and see what colour the flowers are. But it's good to know what flower is on their one. Some of these I hadn't even heard of, and I like my flowers. But yeah, so that's always handy. So that's that part. So then obviously then I use gold foil, and I've used the wing tool. And then we've just used a little bit of Dorso crayons because you can see a hint of different colours. There's blue, pinks and purples in the background here. So I've used the Dorso crayons, and I've used, you can use Perga colours, or you could use polychromos for the colouring. Just depends. I've done a little bit of white work because there's a few flowers that I wanted to be white. So you kind of got white on these two panels and then colour on these two panels. So yeah, so that's hopefully you've got all of those bits at home. If not, then those are the numbers for the plates. Plus you might need some sticky ink or cricket glue pen and some gold foil or silver foil, or there's the rose gold foil. So there's choice as on what colours you want, because I quite like the gold. I thought that looked quite nice on there. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do starting next week, which I'm looking forward to because it's a nice colourful card to create. So I can't believe what the time is now. Been talking. But yeah, so happy birthday to the lovely ladies whose birthdays it was, and a happy new year to everybody. Yes, the wing tool, it looks like a W. So a lot of people might already have that if you've done the Groovi Tuesday projects all the way through. I think I used the wing tool, but like quite a few months ago now. But it's a really lovely tool to use because perfect for Valentine's cards as well, because you can create a nice little heart to go in there. Obviously, you have the heart perforating tool, but the wing tool also kind of creates a really nice heart as well. And I find it gives a really lovely edging as well. I absolutely love the wing tool. So yeah, so we're going to use sticky ink or cricket glue pen, gold foil, Perga colours, or your Perga liners, or the polychromos, any colouring that you want really. It doesn't matter. You can, I've put love in there, but you could put whatever you wanted to put in there really. So, and then yeah, wing tool, and then I've done some white work in there, a bit of colouring, the lively colours for the Dorso crayons, which then you would obviously need Dorso oil and the blending pen. And I think that's all the bits that you need for that project really, apart from your usual bits and pieces like perforating tool, the one needle perforating tool, your Pico foam, super foam, scissors, your companion paper, white brads, 7x7 card blanks, that sort of thing. But we can talk about it more at 2 p.m. as well. But thank you so much for a lovely morning, everyone. It's so lovely to see that everybody's been in the room today, and we've all had a nice little chat. You listened to me ramble on too long now. But yeah, lovely to see you all. Thank you so much, Jane, for being in the room and answering questions. I saw all your messages on there, so thank you, Jane. And I will see you with Paul at 2 p.m. Happy New Year, everyone. Take care. Bye.